Hello and welcome. You're with IndiaPostLive.com, India's first live interactive web television. This is your own platform where you can engage with us as we converse just by clicking on a participation button. You can, of course, send us your posts at www.indiapostlive.com, your video comments and your tweets at #IndiaPostLive and @IndiaPostLive. So, well, today we are going to talk about the contentious issue of the return of the black money. The government did seem to get a rap on the knuckles and from the Supreme Court, and the CJI said, you don't have to do any probe. Give us the list, we will do the needful, and the deadline was today. And of course, the government has in fact submitted the entire list of the black money account holders to the Supreme Court in a closed envelope. The documents include 627 names and the status report of the investigation in these cases. So we're going to talk about that. I have with me in the studio Reena Gupta. She is an economist, an activist and a member of the Aam Aadmi Party. Thank you so much, Reena, for joining us on India Post Live. It's a pleasure having you. Online, I'm joined by Shehzad Poonawala of the Congress. Hi, Shehzad, how are you? Welcome to India Post Live.
Always good to be on your show.
Thank you so much. Pleasure all ours. And the co-convener of the IT cell of the Bharatiya Janata Party, joining us on Skype from Lucknow, Sanjeev Singh ji. Welcome to India Post Live, sir.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. Okay, let me start with the lady. Your reaction, what do you see? How do you see the events unfolding now? You know, after all those statements that Mr. Arun Jaitley made, that there's going to be a lot of embarrassment to the Congress, and the names of a UPA Minister of State and a very influential political family from Maharashtra being a part of that list. How do you see the events unfold?
Lana, let's rewind a little bit. Let's go back to the election campaign where, you know, all the BJP leaders, Mr. Rajnath ji, even Mr. Modi were, you know, really the rhetoric was very loud, and that we are going to bring back all the black money in 100 days. Somebody said 150 days. Yeah. Then Baba Ramdev ji was going all over the country holding these small rallies and saying each of us was going to get 15 lakhs. You know, I made all these plans that I was going to get 15 lakhs in my account. I'm still waiting for those 15 lakhs. So after all that rhetoric, the government did not do anything. You know, if you look at the last election, the last budget, the budget speech, there was nothing in it. You know, there was nothing new. So the government was not serious. And what has happened yesterday, it's historic actually. What the Supreme Court has said, that, you know, the words that the Supreme Court has used for the government, that you're trying to provide a protective umbrella. That, you know, we do not have any trust in you. So yesterday what has happened is it has been a big face-off for this government, this elected government, which came on this plank of bringing back the black money. It's been a big face-off for them. It's been a big letdown that the country actually reposed their faith in this government, saying that it was one of the 3 key election promises, you know, bringing back black money. And how, you know, I remember when Arun Jaitley ji was member of the Rajya Sabha and the UPA was in power, he gave these long speeches on the floor of the house on how, you know, the UPA is not doing anything and the NDA will come and, you know, things will change. And nothing changed. Even if you look at Mr. Jaitley's blog from 2 days back, from, you know, before the Supreme Court came out yesterday, even before that, he was still trying to hide behind the same treaties which the court has said time and again that these treaties are, you know, they don't hold true, because of the fact that we've signed on to many other things. One of them is the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, which clearly says that the sovereign laws of any country take precedence over any other treaty. So the Supreme Court is saying all that, but the government is trying to hide behind these treaties. Yesterday when the court came down so strongly, the whole line changed, you know. And yesterday they started saying, oh, we've already given these names to the SIT. If you'd given those names to the SIT, why did you not give the names to the court? Why, you know, before yesterday, nobody said that we've given these names.
Yes.
They were trying their best to say that we cannot give these names. Suddenly the line changed yesterday. So, I mean, it's a big letdown for the people of this country. And, you know, we are very grateful that we have such an active judiciary in this country that actually, you know, if nothing works, at the end, the Supreme Court says, you know, it saw into the game of the BJP that was cherry picking, releasing these names.
the cherry picking is something, in fact, that the Congress
so the court
has
said,
been...
we don't trust you. It saw into the game and said, we don't trust you. We're going to take everything under us. So the investigation will happen under us.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let me get Shehzad in now. Reena talked of cherry picking, and that is something which the Congress has also been saying after Mr. Arun Jaitley's statement on, some Congress members and influential families in Maharashtra and all of that. So how do you react to what happened? 627 names have been submitted, Shehzad.
Yes, so let me just quote out of, past records and what the Supreme Court has said, lest I will be accused of politicizing the issue. So, this is for Sanjeev in particular. When the previous government had made a claim about the double taxation agreement being a point of contention into revealing the names, Ravi Shankar Prasad said that the government's argument that it can reveal the names to the Supreme Court but not to the public due to double taxation is baseless. Similarly, Prakash Javadekar had said that this was only an attempt by the government to hide the names, right? Now that was prior to the elections. As your guest from the Aam Aadmi Party has said, Baba Ramdev said something regarding 15 lakhs being deposited into our accounts. Mr. Modi himself said that I will use PMLA, that's Prevention of Money Laundering Act, and I will get all this money back. Did speeches incidentally about black money, and these days he's silent. Now the stand after the 16th of May, let me read that out. This is on 17th October, Arun Jaitley says, saying that the same DTAA became a stumbling block in revealing the names, and they said that if investigations take place and in the course of prosecution, when the charge sheets are filed and charges are framed, that's when the only time they can disclose the names. So that is a complete shift from what stand they were taking prior to the elections and complete shift to what they said after the elections. So that's the U-turn of the BJP. Now let me tell you what also happened between this course of time. In January 2011 and 12, during the UPA regime, two lists of names. One was of the LGT Bank and the second was of the HSBC Bank. These two lists came to us. The LGT Bank rightly said after the Supreme Court said that the DTAA agreement does not hold. It was a 2011 order. Para 56 speaks about it. After that order came out, the UPA government put out the 26 names, all 26 names of the LGT Bank. Out of that, 18 bank accounts were found to be illegal and therefore income tax inquiries began against them. 8 were found to be legal, so no inquiries can be held against them. As far as the 626, 627, 628 names are concerned, which the government today has finally, after pushing and pleading by the Supreme Court, has given it to them. On that itself, let me tell everybody, about 420 or 440 cases, the income tax open inquiries began. On about 120 odd, there were search and seizures. Totally about 615 cases, all of them went under the income tax scrutiny immediately by the previous government. All of this today has been given to the Supreme Court after the Supreme Court observed, as she rightly said, that a protective umbrella was being given. After the finance minister, who was the law minister before in the previous government and who was the leader of opposition, a very informed member of parliament, knew that the DTAA is not an impediment. All of this came after the Supreme Court has now said basically that even though you gave these names to the SIT, we want those names. And it has put a timeline that by March 2015, we want what is going to be done. And by November 30th, they're going to give a status report.
All right.
I think when you take all of these things together, realize that you are not going to get the 15 lakh rupees. Mr. Modi and his government, they tried to ride a tiger when they were in opposition. The tiger has come back to swallow them, and they are not serious about this issue. The Supreme Court has itself spoken in that language, which exposes Baba Ramdev, Narendra Modi and the BJP, and all that they have shown today is the action done by the previous government.
Right. Okay. Let me bring Sanjeev ji now. Sanjeev ji, let me first tell you on my behalf that I had made a lot of plans as to what I would do with the 15 lakh rupees when it came into my account. And I'm sorely disappointed by what both Reena and Shehzad have said, that I don't think any such money is coming into my account. So it seems what Shehzad is saying is that, your government has carried forward what the UPA has been trying to do for so many months. How do you respond, sir?
Firstly, what I would like to say is, Shahjad bhai, let us come out of past. ये भूतकाल के भूत को छोड़ो, भविष्य की चिंता आगे दिन अच्छे आने जा रहे हैं. And since he mentioned about a lot of things which happened in past, I would like to cite couple of things, just a few. July 2011 was when SC actually instructed UPA government to form an SIT. For full more than 3 years, they kept on delaying that thing. They filed a review petition. They wanted SC till March 2014. They wanted Supreme Court to recall its order of constituting an SIT. And what did we do? The moment we came to power, within 3 days, we constituted an SIT. So isn't it a commitment enough? Number one. Number two, what did they do apart from not constituting SIT? Did they proceed against Hassan Ali? All attempts which they made were simply to somehow safeguard Hassan Ali and his ilk. So that has been their record. Now, this DTAA agreements which UPA governments went about signing with various governments, in any DTAA, there is a confidentiality clause. That is acceptable, that is okay. There is no problem as such in it. But what you can do is, there could have been overriding provision in those agreements, which could actually, make it open to you to proceed against wealth which has been stashed abroad by criminal means, by terrorist means, by means of, clear felonies and misdemeanors. So that could have been done. Now we are going to go about doing that. We have already sent a team to the Swiss authorities. They have discussed certain things, and we are working on, getting over that handicap also. Additionally, when Supreme Court yesterday, when it pronounced its order to share that list, what has actually happened is, just look at that other strategic aspect of it, that because of court order, when we have submitted this list, we are not in violation of that confidentiality clause of DTAA. So that is a very welcome change. Without compromising our position, we have been able to share this entire list. So this is what I talk about when I say live in present, look at what we have done, look at what we are going to do.
Yeah, surely. Reena, can I get your reaction, Reena? 1 second.
No, I'm surprised that Sanjay ji is Sanjeev, sorry. Till day before yesterday, you were submitting an affidavit saying that you cannot reveal these names. And after yesterday, once the Supreme Court has really scolded you and really hit you on your knuckles, you've given the list and now you're trying to take credit for that. So, I mean, whom are you trying to fool really?
Reena ji,
Shehzad, give me a second. Let Sanjeev ji respond.
Reena ji, UPA government was there.
Let's forget UPA. UPA is now doesn't matter what UPA did. Let's talk about what NDA is doing.
Okay, I'm clarifying my position. Yeah. Hear me out. So 2009, this matter came to light with all that information which became available in public domain, with lakhs of crores of rupees being looted from this country of common people and stashed abroad in tax havens. So this information became available in 2009. This earlier government didn't do a thing. So yesterday's Supreme Court observation wasn't, specific about NDA government not doing that. That was in toto, considering what the government has done, specifically the earlier UPA government.
I disagree,
since 2011, they didn't do anything. And you have to understand the strategic aspect. This court order, when we stated that yesterday, it was applicable. The court orders makes our life easier. We can reveal the name as we have done. We have not taken a single hour extra than what was mandated by Supreme Court.
You did not have a choice. The court did not leave you with a choice.
That is the
till you had a choice, you were trying to avoid it.
We are not in violation
Shehzad,
of
let
the
me bring in Shehzad now.
agreement, because this comes as per the court order, which is supreme over that confidentiality.
Can I bring in Shehzad, please? Can I please bring in Shehzad? Shehzad.
BJP's white lies on black money has been exposed, you find that the spokespersons of BJP still continue to peddle some lies. Let me clarify 4 lies that have just been peddled on this show right now, and without interruption, please. Yeah. First of all, you are saying that the confidentiality clause bit has got clarified yesterday. Sanjeev should start reading court orders more properly, and I have the court order with me. It was in 2011 when para 56, I have the order where it had clarifies that the agreements with Germany or any other country are not an impediment for the disclosure. It was because of this that the previous UPA government disclosed the 26 names of LGT Bank and had promised to disclose the names of HSBC Bank also. Before that, we lost power and we had to go out of power. Secondly, he says that SIT was constituted by them and the previous government did not constitute it. He does not know that in the same agreements it was written that the IT department alone would be the nodal agency to investigate this. There was a genuine clarification that was being sought, and by 1st May 2014, the Supreme Court said that there is no impediment in that. You can have an SIT which has different agencies, and it will have the ED as the nodal agency. And it was a compulsory order which this government, the Modi government, had to comply with. So making a virtue out of a necessity is something that the BJP is doing, just like it is doing with disclosing of the names today. Thirdly, let me say that he keeps saying that no work had been done by the previous government and it had been done by this government. The following names, the 627 names had been given to SIT in June. This has been said by the BJP. Can you please ask Sanjeev? Can you please ask Sanjeev that SIT's nodal agency ED, Mr. Modi himself in 2011 had said that I will get ED and PMLA Act to investigate the cases. Can you tell me how many cases have been filed under PMLA and with the ED? Because all the cases whose status reports have been given today have been the ones which have been started in 2011 under the IT Act, and those investigations I am giving to you as a record. 560 cases totally from 2011 have been started. So this is again being just like they took credit for Mars Orbiter mission, they are taking credit for work that has been done by the previous UPA government. If at all Sanjeev is saying that a lot of work has been done by his government under this SIT, can you give me at least one case which has been investigated by the SIT? Hassan Ali case, tell me what they have done under Hassan Ali case in SIT. Have they done any investigation under UD? Give me the record from the last 5 months or 4 months, what have you done?
All right. Sanjeev ji, before I come to you, can I just bring in Reena, please, before I come to you? Reena, what do you have to say? I mean, in fact, just before the show, you were telling me that a lot of the money is already back.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm actually surprised that now, Shehzad and the other Congress people have actually found a voice, because they actually were worse than what the Congress is doing. They kept dragging their feet even on formation of the SIT. I mean, I'll give Sanjeev bhai credit that at least the SIT was formed, but after pressure from the court. But even after the formation of the SIT, then nothing was done, And also what I would like to ask him is that, okay, whatever now the names are with the court, the SIT will take its due course, all of that will happen.
The judges, right?
Right. Huh. Now, if they are really serious, about, prevention of further money laundering, I would like to ask him what is his plan. Most of the money actually gets laundered and comes back to the country to fund campaigns of both Congress and the BJP. A lot of that money gets invested in the real estate market. A lot of that money comes through P-notes. It comes through Hawala transactions. It comes through shell companies. So the government has majority now. If they really have the political will, and if they actually are not scared that they've taken money from some of these people who have the black money stashed abroad, then what stops them from making these changes in all of these, amend the Money Laundering Act, abolish the P-notes, abolish the shell companies? What stops them?
Right.
I want to ask his plans. What is he going to do now?
Right. Sanjeev ji, now you please respond to what Shehzad said, and also the way forward as Reena is suggesting.
So Shehzad bhai takes claim of revealing 26 names, simultaneously mentioning that there was a Supreme Court order which clarified in 2011 that DTAA doesn't hold. That confidentiality clause doesn't hold. So I'd like to simply ask him, what was that UPA government doing for 3 full years when Supreme Court had clarified on this particular aspect? So far as we are concerned, we have, complied to, we have played a bit safe, and that's a strategic thing. We are not in violation of our agreement signed by UPA. That is one. Secondly, they were so busy. They revealed 26 names, but as per the information available, they have gone ahead and given amnesty to 100 people. Revealing 26 names, giving amnesty to 100 people, what does that signify? Isn't it a clear-cut case of malintentions on Congress's part? And coming back to what Reena ji was saying, Reena ji, it's just 5 months that we have come to power, and there were so many things which were, in doldrums. We have been slowly but steadily putting all those things in order. Look at inflation, it is now under control. And so far as this thing is also concerned, just look at what the situation is today. That entire list stands submitted in Supreme Court. Not that it was not submitted earlier. Immediately after constitution of SIT, we submitted that entire list to SIT, and be clear, SIT was constituted per Supreme Court order, wherein it is headed by 2 Supreme Court retired judges, and it is directly being monitored by Supreme Court. So we were not in violation of Supreme Court order or the directive in spirit. The entire list was available with SIT. Now, because of yesterday's order, we have, our hands were opened. We submitted the entire list the moment it came to us. Similarly, whatever you want, rest assured, it's a clear promise, it's a commitment, and the commitment came from the highest authority in our government that we are not going to spare these traitors. These guys who have looted this country and stashed money abroad are equivalent of what British did. They are traitors. We are not going to spare them. And most of these guys, when the names come out, will be, as Mr. Jaitley said, a lot of our rivals are going to be disappointed there.
Shehzad.
See, first of all, let me say that when in 2011 the order came up that the names can be disclosed and confidentiality clause won't be a problem, the government of the day disclosed the 26 names. 18 were illegal, action began on them. 8 were legal, no action could be taken on them. As far as the HSBC list is concerned, you have to understand that on the 628 names, I just showed you that open inquiries and searches and seizures against majority of the accounts, I think about 620 accounts, because some of them are repetitive joint accounts, etc., had begun. So there was no amnesty. That is a complete lie which is being said that 100 people were given amnesty. I don't know where Sanjeev gets all these facts from. I have the record. This is the same thing that's been given to the court today. Now,
Reena is saying that they were given amnesty.
Okay, one second.
It's all in the public domain, Shehzad. Don't try to refute these facts.
No. I am also quoting from the public domain. Secondly, let us now once again understand and nuance this debate a bit. There are larger points also I want to make and not get trapped into rhetoric. These 628 names with the HSBC, they are account holders. Not everybody is a black account holder. That even the economists would agree with me. Correct? So therefore, to establish whether they have black money or not, you have to start an IT, at least a preliminary IT inquiry. Now, that was what was being done by the previous government. As far as the SIT is concerned, again, I'm saying it was a compulsory order on May 1st, because of which the government of the new government had to constitute it. Don't make a virtue out of a necessity. Now, let me come to the larger point. The larger point, as has been rightly said, if you see the size of the black economy today, it's half of our GDP, which is around 65 lakh crores. Now, of the 65 lakh crores, about 10%, that is 6.5 lakh crores, is estimated to be out. 90% is in the country itself, which is being generated, spent, respent, etc. Now, around 1% of this entire amount, around 60,000 crores, and this can be got from the very fact that in 2009, if you see, Bhupinath Mundra had said he spent 8 crores in his election campaign. If you just add inflation to it, it's about 15 crores. And if you take that entire amount, 60,000 crores has been spent in one Lok Sabha election.
Right.
Just in 15. That's all. That
is in fact the larger issue that Reena has. Yes.
So now the larger issue. Now I'll come to the larger issue. The larger issue is, for this to be avoided, you need two things. And I agree with Reena to an extent here. You need electoral reforms and you need parties to come under RTI Act. On both these topics, I must say, even the on the electoral reform, this is a matter of public record. Go and check with the Law Commission. The Congress party is the only party which has given assent that they will undertake electoral reforms as prescribed on 37 issues, 30 issues by the Law Commission. Secondly, not even the BJP, not even the Aam Aadmi Party has done it. Maybe the Aam Aadmi Party wasn't around that time. And secondly, as far as the RTI aspect is concerned, getting parties under RTI Act, Rahul Gandhi in his interview to Times Now had said that if we can have this thing, for him it was okay to have this thing, and it was something that Parliament has to decide. Today the BJP is in majority. If the BJP brings this act whereby all parties are brought under the RTI Act, I think the Congress will be the last party to reject something that all parties can consent to.
All right. The larger issue, let's come back to the larger issue, because here it almost seems as if, it's like a UPS saying, no, we started it, and, NDA taking credit for it. So, if we just talk of the larger issue, the issue of electoral reforms that even Shehzad mentioned, you as an economist, how do you see, what should be the roadmap?
All of these mainstream political parties, both BJP and Congress, I mean, what part of their campaign financing do they actually get in white? Most of it comes in black. So unless this is the biggest problem we are facing in this country, why are we crying hoarse over this issue? If you look at, there have been several estimates, but I would like to stick to the Bloomberg estimate, which says that the black economy in this country is up to $2 trillion. That's our GDP, our current GDP. And if you look at the last budget, the government would not need to raise any taxes for the next 7 years. It could fund all the planned expenditures just from these $2 trillion. In fact, Mr. Subramaniam Swamy at some point had made this suggestion last year that we should stop income tax and just bring all this black money and fund everything with this black money. So Sanjeev's own supporters, Mr. Subramaniam Swamy, Mr. Jethmalani, they're all actually coming out so strongly and saying that senior people in the government are acting as roadblocks. So I don't know how Sanjeev is taking such a high moral ground today and saying that we are doing everything. His own Subramaniam Swamy and Jethmalani is an openly supporter of Mr. Modi, who's saying that a very senior minister is creating roadblocks. Anyways, that's all past. So moving forward, unless we have these electoral finance reforms, I don't see anything changing. The amount of money which is spent on these campaigns, even if you look at the latest assembly elections, on the day of the election, there were front page ads of Mr. Modi in every regional and national newspaper. You and I know how much money is spent to get one small snippet there. Front page ads, where is that money coming from? So unless we solve that issue, you give these monies to the SIT, that money has probably all come back. Nobody is a fool to keep that money out there still.
Will we ever know the names? Reena, do you think we'll ever know the names?
Actually, the petitioner could ask for the names. Mr. Jethmalani has a right to ask for the names, and then it's for the Supreme Court to decide. I think we should have the names in the public domain. If that money has been made legally, what is there to hide? If I've made my money legally and I've taken it abroad, I've paid taxes, the money is there. Why should I have a problem that my name is released? Why should I have a problem? In fact, the United Nations Convention Against Corruption says that, I will read it out actually, I have it here. It says that any money, the government has full authority to come out with a law and say that every individual should disclose all the assets that they have in the country and abroad. And anything else besides that should be treated as proceeds of the crime, and the government has a right to seize that and bring it back to the country. I would want to ask Sanjeev, why can't they enact this law? Why can't they amend the Money Laundering Act to include this clause? And when are they going to do it? Give us a timeline.
Can we have a timeline on India Post Live, Sanjeev ji?
We cannot give a timeline, because if we give a timeline, next Reena ji would be criticizing us कि साहब आपने 2 साल बोला था अभी तक कुछ हुआ नहीं. But one thing is very clear, which is we
are latching on to 2 years.
So one thing is very clear, which is the intention. And I like to get back to Shehzad Bhai when he says that he cited so many things which UPA government was doing. If UPA government was actually doing so many things, what was the reason for Supreme Court to clearly, pass a clear, unequivocal judgment against the UPA government that we do not, trust you. We do not have any intention of trusting you. We are forming this. We want this society to be formed, which we will monitor ourselves. So that clearly,
but sir, it's something like the Mars Orbiter mission that you and Shehzad have often argued about. Mr. Narendra Modi went to Madison Square Garden and took credit for Mars. Don't you think it's something like that, Shehzad?
No, Narendra Bhai didn't take credit for MOM. He actually credited our scientists, the potential of Indians to do, to achieve the impossible, and you simply have to provide systemic changes, and things will.
I'm just saying that. Don't you think there is a lot of misplaced credit taking happening here on this show? Of course, the fact is that the Supreme Court did very sternly tell the government, it's our job to do the probe. You just give us the names.
We don't trust you anymore.
So what is the bottom line? The bottom line is the names stand submitted to Supreme Court, and we had submitted that earlier to SIT.
Isn't the bottom line also that investigations had begun? Isn't the bottom line also that proceedings had begun?
No, but Sanjeev Bhai, that's only one part. The names have been given. No, Sanjeev Bhai, the names have been given. Let's talk about the systemic issues. What leads to all this black money laundering? Let's talk about that. I want to hear your thoughts on that.
We have gone to
what
the
is the game plan on that?
Yeah.
Right. I'll come to that.
Let's forget what Congress did and what let's forget all of that.
I'm coming to that. Just look at that. Just look at one single decision which Modi ji promised earlier, and on which we have proceeded further, which is about investigating all criminal offences mentioned in affidavits of all elected MPs. So we are going on a fast track on those. This is a very important, a very significant clause of that electoral reform process.
Sir, I don't understand this, because if you look at the Maharashtra results, most of your elected MPs have criminal records. Even your chief minister, he has some 22 criminal cases against him. So you know what you're saying, I don't trust that, seriously.
It is not going to happen in a jiffy, but the intention is there, and a clear follow-up action with that intention is also there.
Sanjeev ji, one second, can I bring in Shehzad?
The voters, the highest authority in a democracy, are fully convinced with our action, our intention. They trust us, and the trust is clearly being
After yesterday, Sanjeev ji, the voters are losing their trust. After yesterday, after the court coming down so strongly, the voters are losing their trust.
Elections are coming up.
Yeah, so why don't we do the elections in Delhi then?
Yeah, 2015.
Why aren't we having the elections in Delhi then?
Shehzad.
Can I please make my point? Because the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP, you then ask us why we've lost our voice. You don't give us the space.
Arey, Shehzad?
No. So now please, I will not like to be interrupted for 2 minutes.
Okay.
Now let me make 3 points very clear, and let Sanjeev answer these 3 points very specifically without beating around the bush. First of all, people are saying disclose the names. The Congress Party has said disclose all 700 names. In fact, they've just given 628. Whatever names are there, please disclose them. I agree with the lady here. Please disclose the names. But more than the names being disclosed, let us understand that most of this money does not get deposited in Swiss accounts in their own names. It gets deposited in multiple names, and it goes to multiple layers, trusts. There are 80 tax havens, etc. So it's not that simple. All right? But even then, if you want to disclose the names, please go ahead, disclose all the names. You had given it to the SIT. What was your problem to give it to the Supreme Court till the time they chided you? When you have given it to the SIT and your Prime Ministerial candidate said that I will start PMLA inquiries, how many PMLA inquiries has the SIT initiated? That can be legitimately taken credit for, Mr. Sanjeev, but you're not talking about that. Forget that. Secondly, as has been rightly said, the problem is about party political financing. You have seen how front page ads are coming. You have seen how TV slots are being bought. This money is black money. Mr. Modi's campaign, 20 crores for each rally, 10,000 crores has been spent. All of this is black money. To avoid all of this, you need electoral reform and you need parties to be under RTI Act. Sanjeev is the government. Can he tell me that he will take the first step forward of going ahead with electoral reform and going ahead with bringing parties under RTI Act? Forget Congress. Congress is not even in a position. Congress or Aam Aadmi Party today is not even in a position to block it. Forget these two parties. They only make 48 seats in parliament. They have full majority. Will he do it? The Congress is the only party which was okay with electoral reforms. Aam Aadmi Party wasn't in existence. Maybe they are also. But the BJP is the party which can do it single-handedly. Will they do it? Yes or no? And thirdly, please tell me that what about the black money that has been generated in this country, that is 90% of the black money? What have you done on the real estate sector? What have you done on the other sectors? You are hobnobbing with some of the people who are accused to have been the biggest beneficiaries of black money in this country. You go inaugurate their hospitals and you are saying you're serious about dealing with black money. Are you trying to mislead? And finally, it was not Nilanjana and us who said that we will bring it in 100 days. Your Rajnath Singh said that in 150 days we will bring it. Today Sanjeev is asking for 2 years. Jaitley is asking for 3 years. Rohatgi is asking for 6 months. Sanjeev should be believed or Rajnath Singh should be believed.
All right. Sanjeev ji also, Mr. Jaitley also, said that whatever names, if the names come out, it is going to be about individuals and not about the party. That was a very interesting.
That's a position Congress also took earlier.
That is the same position.
So all I'm saying is they're both sides of the same coin. It's nothing. I mean, if you look at even the MPs that have been elected, so many of them have just come from Congress and moved to BJP. There's no difference between the two parties. If your basic campaign money is coming from corruption, how can you have a different voice? You cannot have a different voice. So I know it sounds very cliched, and you know, if I'm going to say, but Aam Aadmi Party is the only party which takes all the money in white. So we're not, you know, nobody has given us money that tomorrow we cannot reveal their names. The 3 names which came out, you know, one organization had given money to both of them, right? To both BJP and Congress. The 3 names that were revealed, one of them had donated to both of them. So it's basically the same, you know, 2 parts of the same coin. So I don't have much hope from any of these mainstream political parties.
Okay, we have to wrap up the conversation now. Let me take last comments from Sanjeev, and then Shehzad, I'll come back to you. Let me take last comments from Sanjeev. Of course, you have already responded to Shehzad's comment on political financing. You have asked for some time. You said processes are being put into place. He has talked of revealing the names, and as Reena also said, if they are legal, what is the problem in revealing the names if the money has been made legally? And also, Shehzad asked, what are you doing about the black money that is still being generated within the country through dubious deals?
Our deeds are there, and they are there for all to observe, and people are reposing faith in us. What I like to, you know, summarize and conclude by saying is that we have achieved significant breakthrough in the short duration in which we have in power, not only on this black money issue, but also on so many other issues which directly affect common people, which is inflation. We have acted very tough on Pakistan front. We have acted tough on China front. We have been able to get our credit ratings up. We have been able to shore up the economy. There is a lot of confidence now in our economy. People are coming to invest with us without compromising on any of the things which we promised earlier or which we stand for. So this is what I would like to mention as this is the intention, this is our track record, and we are going to keep following up steadfast in the remaining, you know, more than 4.5 years of our tenure which remains, and people are going to judge us after that thing, and people are already judging us by our intention and whatever we have been able to achieve in the limited time which we have been there in the government.
Shehzad, final comments. Shehzad, also what Reena said, that Congress and BJP are 2 sides of the same coin.
See, I don't want to comment on the Aam Aadmi Party broadly painting everybody with the same brush. If we were 2 sides of the same coin, maybe they should not have taken Congress support in Delhi and formed the government. And now they say this is fine. It's for a matter of record to see that electoral reforms, which party has replied and which hasn't. It is for a matter of record to see whose party vice president has said that we are okay with RTA being under the RTA Act and which party hasn't. Anyhow, I don't want to respond to such allegations by the Aam Aadmi Party, but I would like to ask BJP very humbly, that is the disappearing act one of the yoga asanas that Mr. Ramdev teaches, because that is the kind of act which Modi ji and yoga guru Ramdev Baba have done on black money. 15 lakh to aaye nahi, but the BJP and the Baba Ramdevs of the world have been told by the Supreme Court that if we keep waiting for you, इस lifetime में तो पैसा नहीं आना है. In the words of Kapil Sharma,
15 lakh तो नहीं आ रहे हैं. Absolutely.
In the words of Kapil Sharma, 15 lakh का वादा किया, दिया बाबा जी का ठुल्लू. I am sorry to use these words, but this is and Baba ji ka tullu also for the people on electoral reform, on finance reforms for black money within the country, and on all these other issues which Sanjeev has just danced away from. I guess he has learnt his skills from Baba Ramdev.
Sanjeev.
शहजाद भाई पुरानी कहावत है, सब्र का फल मीठा होता है. सब्र रखिए, आपके लिए कितना मीठा होगा मुझे नहीं मालूम, लेकिन भारतीय जनता के लिए बहुत मीठा होने वाला है.
So sir, how much? 15 lakh तो नहीं आने वाले शायद. What Reena is saying, and Reena is an economist, she's sitting here. She's saying that you can forget about the 15 lakh. She had made plans, I had made plans. So how much can I get in my account finally, Sanjeev ji?
Nilanjana, Reena ji has already said that a lot of that money, because of all that which is going on here, is already coming back to India. So that is one part. Okay. And talking about 15 lakh या 20 lakh या 25 lakh, give us time, देखते हैं कितना 15 आता है, 20 आता है, हो सकता है 25
basically, you know, I mean, if I don't see potholes on the road, and if I, you know, see a lot of infrastructural, I mean, that is essentially what?
Yes.
I want to see my tax money go to work in this country. As a citizen of the country, let me humbly say that to you, sir.
Hasn't it already started happening?
Can I just...
No, I still drive. I'm not driving now. Yeah. I have a problem, but I drive and there are still potholes. I don't know whether to say it to Delhi or whether to say it to the union government, but I'm saying
that.
But he's responsible for both of that.
He's responsible for both of that? Okay, we'll so the wait and watch.
But I won't get into that. Just one final thing I wanted to make.
Absolutely, last comments from you.
See, there is one part which is the avoidance of the tax, which actually is the more benign part. The bigger issue is that all these natural resources which have been, which were like, written off literally, and all that money which was made, that money that's a big chunk of the black money. So it's not like money made through legal means and then just tax has been avoided. This is ill-gotten wealth, and the natural resources of this country have been sold off. This is the crony capitalism that we've been talking about.
Yes.
So if we don't fix the systemic issues, this will continue. And there are enough studies to prove that when this happens, actually poor get impacted the most. And this is what we are seeing. And Sanjeev ji, really, your government is even trying to dilute the MNREGA Act, which directly actually benefits the poor of the country. What are you doing for the poor of the country? I mean, you are doing everything for the middle class and the upper middle class, and you have a great advertisement campaign. But poor of the country, what are you doing for them? You're trying to dilute every little thing that they actually have. So, let's not laugh away this issue. It's a very, very serious issue.
Shehzad.
What Reena ji has said. One
second, Shehzad is responding. Sanjeev ji, 1 second. Shehzad.
Okay. Since Sanjeev told me sabrar ka phal meetha hota hai, I'll give him a couplet as well that Ram Jethmalani used. Khoda pahad, nikla chuha. This is something that he should use.
अभी खुदा का है पहाड़, अभी तो शुरुआत हुई है.
Okay, the systemic processes need to be corrected, need to be checked, and the issue, the very, very serious issue, of course, that Reena has raised. You agree with what Reena has said about the larger issue? We have to wrap up, Sanjeev ji.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just look at what happened on coal case. We have come out with a clear policy that we are going to auction this. So there won't be any, selective, inducement of benefits to interested parties. Number one. Number two,
that is a longer debate. I don't agree with Sanjeev. That's a longer debate. We'll have to come back to the studio.
We'll have to come back. We'll have to do another show on this.
Yeah, we can't.
You agree with the fact that there need to be changes made on the systemic processes in the country, right? You agree with that?
I agree with that, and we have already initiated the process.
You've started the process. All right. Let's wrap it up. Shehzad, are you there still?
I'm still very much there.
Shehzad, you were having people home for lunch, I thought. So I'm going to let you.
I could have given them better food if Sanjeev gives me my 15 lakh rupees.
All right. We will definitely wait for those 15 lakh rupees, you and I. I promise you, even I'm waiting. So, sabr ka phal meetha hota hai. Thank you so much, Shehzad, for joining us. Thank you so much, Sanjeev ji, for joining us. Great conversation. Thank you so much, both of you. And Reena, of course, it was wonderful having you and for putting things into the larger perspective instead of, I should get the lollipop or Congress should get the lollipop or BJP should get the lollipop. It was a lot of credit taking, but you put things in a lot of perspective for us. So I must thank you for that. So thank you so much for coming. Thanks a lot. It was great. And to all those of you who watched the show, whatever your comments are on this, please write into us on IndiaPostLive.com. Tweet us at #IndiaPostLive and @IndiaPostLive. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.